a Bramble Jam podcast. Well, hello, all you wild and crazy kids.
Wow, we're coming out of the gate hot today.
Bran, Erin, Dan.
DCOM descendants. We didn't need any intro music. Not us. Not now. Not ever.
Hold on.
I got some.
Okay, go.
I'm not even plugged in.
No.
We're ready.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to DCOM Descendants. Bran, Erin, Dan. Excited to be back with the 13th year. 13th Year, everybody, which is a movie that we will be talking about involving mermaids. Before we do that,
I thought it was about for sure.
how are we, everybody? Dan, Erin?
We're doing great.
Doing great.
Yeah, it has been a full week,
Yes.
which is surprising considering we weren't here on Monday.
Well, that was this is not.
Why
I wasn't here on
It's
Monday.
February 29th, Erin.
Yeah, I wasn't here on Monday.
You weren't. You took Monday off.
I took a PTO day.
On February 25th. Interesting.
I'm done with these guys
Fascinating.
for today. Yeah, you guys had to fend for yourself on that busy Monday. And you did great. I'm proud of both of you.
Yeah, we did.
Thank you so much, everybody who has left a review on the Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
New reviews, several new ratings, all positive bringing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we got that one star and the two stars, and
all those are valid. None of your reviews are invalid. We're just not going to read them. But Elburn did want us to know that they adored DCOM movies growing up, and they like listening to us. They can't wait to hear all of the rest. So we got at least one listener, Elburn, who has committed to listening to every episode no matter what. That's how I took that. And so thank you to Elburn for
is this Elburn like
that.
E-L-L-E?
It's
B-E-R-N?
the letter L, period. Burn.
Ooh, Elburn. Like, let it burn.
Let it burn. Usher left a review. Usher's a big fan, and Usher will listen to every episode.
Do I like DCOM Descendants? Yeah. That's his review. That's it. That's the whole thing.
Yeah,
he quotes
yeah.
his most famous song in all of his Apple reviews. It's a normal thing that pop stars do.
Yeah, it's gross, it's weird, and I like it. Speaking of gross, it's weird. It's time for you know that music by now, the delicious segment.
Welcome into the bar.
So far, it's been good overall. Good experience overall. I am looking at today's beverage, though, Erin. I'm concerned. It is, for the people listening and not watching on YouTube, it could not be more blue.
It is very blue.
It is the blue that you like imagine that the ocean is going to be, and then the ocean's not, because this blue is not real. It's not a real liquid color.
Places.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not even convinced of that.
Okay.
What is it, Erin?
Today, in honor of the 13th year, we have a tropical mermaid cocktail.
Okay.
It has coconut rum, banana rum, blue curacao, and some pineapple juice. And Dan got a little bit because he is making that reaction.
It's
nauseous.
It's the blue carousel.
Yeah.
No, not carousel.
It's a blue carousel, and you shrink it. Honey, I Shrunk the Carousel style. Throw it in it and blend it.
Yep.
And that's what gives it this blue color.
Of course.
It's all the different flavored rums that really got me thinking I might throw up. But I'd love to.
Right. I'll
Here we
drink
go.
yours.
Cheers. Cheers, everybody.
It is.
Oh, you already drank?
Yeah,
yours,
I'm excited about it. It's good.
It's very sweet.
Dan,
for you.
come on.
It's really sweet.
Yeah.
It's really, really sweet.
Dan's
I'll finish it. I'll knock it out.
Dan's not a sweet boy.
Woo! How about you?
He doesn't have to coach later.
Nope, I don't. I'm not driving.
No, he's not.
I'm driving, but that's a different story. Don't drink and coach, kids. I don't. I don't like it. What do you want?
Wait, are you driving? Where are you going today?
I got to drive down to Aiken
For what reason?
to watch a basketball.
I thought you were done with that. We did a whole celebration.
Not coaching. I'm watching a kid I used to coach play in college.
In Aiken?
In Aiken.
Kid count 1 for Dan.
Aiken breaking
He's
heart.
not a kid anymore. He's an adult now.
Well, once a kid, always a kid.
Well, that is something you said out loud.
So kid count for Brandon is just infinite.
So leave us a rating and review, or call your local police officer.
No. Now, I do want to just say really quickly before we dive into comm chat, we made a joke first couple episodes about like shirts and swag and whatnot. it was a joke. But if people want DCOM Descendants merch, let us know. I think we could have it created. Just like let us know is really the hurdle there. I think if you go to DCOMpodcast.com, you can leave there's like a contact thing.
Send us a contact.
Exactly right. Exactly or message us on the socials at DCOM Descendants.
That's right.
And we'll figure it out. We'll make something happen, okay? That's all I'm going to say about that.
That's all you're going to say.
Let's do this.
DCOMpodcast.com, #OldManWithers.
That's exactly right. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get into the movie today here on DCOM Descendants. Welcome back, ballers. It is the 13th year is today's movie. And it is time for the Com Chat, where we talk about this movie just in case you missed it, in case you were silly enough to not watch it.
Why wouldn't you?
And by the way, if you didn't and now you're like, what do I do? You can watch it on Disney Plus, and you can also check out TakeTheTape.com and purchase our commentary track on this movie where you can watch along with us.
You could also watch it live on BramblejamPlus.com with the all access tier. A lot of ways to get involved is what you're saying.
That's
Graham.
exactly.
Or you could skip the movie altogether. I'm not saying you have to.
I don't know why you would.
I'm just saying you could.
It's a good time.
You could.
We're not stopping you from listening to this without watching the movie.
It's a good time every time.
Just do it.
Not all.
13th Year, originally
drink enough of those mermaid cocktails.
We'll see what happens.
You know.
Good time every time.
That's right.
Originally aired on the Disney Channel on May 15th, 1999. Directed by Dwayne Dunham.
Dwayne Dunham.
Dwayne
the bathtub.
Movie kicks off with a mermaid swimming in the water.
I'm drowning.
Now, Dan, going into this movie, Erin and I, we had seen this movie, and we asked you a couple times, like, what do you think of this movie?
I thought someone was like at 13 going on 30 maybe, where you go back in time, or you're stuck at 13, or it's a Freaky Friday sitch. Something to do with turning 13 and realizing that it's harder than, maybe your parents realize or vice versa. And I was very confident it was one of those things.
Yeah.
It is.
Turns out it's about a merman.
Yes.
It is about someone turning 13 and how parents don't understand how hard that is for him.
When he's a merman. Yeah.
I will just say,
No.
You got it right, Dan.
No. The merman piece is a pretty big piece of this.
Unlike last week, though, where we watched the entire movie and we're still not entirely sure if he's an alien or not. This movie makes no qualms about it.
Questions.
You dive into this movie and immediately mermaid. We see mermaid right out of the gate, so you're like, okay.
Have you heard back from anyone on Can of Worms?
Not yet.
To answer our questions?
Not yet. But maybe I will this week, which was last week.
In reality.
When they're listening. The mermaid's swimming around. We see a baby in the mermaid's arms. And up until this point, watching the movie, I hadn't given it any thought about mermaids, where they come from, and if babies
and where do
are
they go?
Reproductive
I
situation of mermaids.
But when the movie 10 seconds in shows you mermaid holding baby, obviously baby having no problem.
Stolen baby.
Baby having no problem breathing, though. Baby's fine.
Correct.
Down under the water. I don't know. Whatever. I'm sure everything's going to be great. We then
They're
see
not going to get into mermaid sex later in this movie.
No, they don't.
That's not going to cross anybody's. We're just going to assume the baby was born and it has legs, and then when it turns 13, it's going to lose its legs.
All I'm going to say is this movie makes it perfectly clear that everybody thinks this mermaid's hot. So, like, I think, we figure it out, do the math.
Baby does have, I believe, mermaid.
Nothing. It's just a baby in a net.
Baby in a net.
It looks like mermaids stole a baby.
Baby in a nutshell.
You don't know that she did
mermaid power. We then see a fisherman. His name is Big John, and he is fishing, and he sees what he thinks is big fish.
Yeah. Big fish. Are you in the big fish?
Yes. And we see tail, and I felt like watching it. Had I not known that it was a mermaid, maybe I would have been on Big John's side. But knowing that it's mermaid, I assume that he thinks it's a mermaid. But no, Big John makes it pretty clear that he just thinks big fish.
And at one point he's like, "It's a mermaid."
At the end when he says, "You're beautiful."
He thinks it's
but
a big
early
fish.
on when he's trying to track it, he thinks this is the big one, the big one that I've been waiting for.
Fish sonar, and that would only track fish.
I thought he knew it was a mermaid, and that's why the next 13 years everyone thinks he's crazy.
Well,
he does eventually,
but he's tracking it, thinking it's.
Is this one of the mini shows we do where you don't watch the thing, or did you watch the movie?
I watched the thing. I watched the thing.
Did you?
I did.
At first,
can we take it to the
drank the drink. Watch the thing. So mermaid stealing a baby. Understood. Got it.
Hot mermaid.
Hot mermaid. We don't know how she reproduces. We don't know that information. That's not something we know. Stole a baby. Do you know that?
Where's Murdad?
Murdad.
Murdaddy.
Oh, that's Murdaddy.
That's Murdaddy.
I don't like it. I don't like that we said it.
That's
Mermaid. Where's he
at? So he thinks it's just a fish at first, and then he's trying to track, and she, for some reason, this has become a problem for her, and she's like, I can't get away from this guy and hold baby, and so, thank goodness, there's a boat in the water that has a
bucket
a baby
so
bucket on the outside, perfect for baby.
Place mermaid baby here.
Perfect for baby.
On the outside of it.
Yeah. What is it for if not for baby?
That's right. That's true.
It isn't perfect for baby.
I think it had like nets in it.
Yeah.
But for baby.
For baby.
That's for baby.
That's for baby.
That's for baby. You don't want that baby getting out. And so.
That's for baby.com.
Yeah.
Put on a shirt. The shirts are making themselves. Nets for baby.
All you do is send us a contact, and we'll make a Nets for baby shirt. Murdad. Who's your Murdaddy?
Who's your Murdaddy? And then it's just a picture.
There are some DCOM listeners who would probably wear that shirt.
Who's your Murdaddy?
Who's your Murdaddy?
You know who I'm thinking of, and I'm not going to say her name because of her friends who listen, but you know who I'm talking about.
Oh my god!
Shout out!
Shout out to Erin's mom.
Come on.
I know it's funny when I hear Brian laughing in the other room. That's what helps me.
Brian's here?
It's my
So
not even a nearly nude segment.
She is put. I mean, it is a mermaid. They can only wear so many clothes, but anyway,
she is more nearly nude than Dell.
She is the most nude person in the history of a DCOM.
That's
true. That's a fact.
That's a fact.
Well, I can't get in trouble for this. It's a fact. And
you're thinking like that might not be the case?
Who else is more nude?
I was thinking ahead.
In the future. I was like, the head. I mean, everybody's naked on the head.
No.
We're dropping bombs today. Everybody's naked on the head.
Y'all, I am 2 sentences in. We got to pick this up. So puts baby in the mermaid bag, and she begins to swim off, and she is like, "Hey, Big John over here," to try to get Big John to go. That's when Big John notices Hot Mermaid and is like, "Literally, you're beautiful."
Yes.
Turns
stares.
full James Blunt as
full locked in there.
You're beautiful.
It's a good thing too. If she was ugly, the whole thing wouldn't have worked.
Yes, that's true. So then he crashes his boat because he was too busy looking at the Hot Mermaid.
Yeah.
Just right into that.
And we have all been there.
We've all been
judge.
there. Just listen.
Sometimes you're driving around, you see Hot Mermaid,
and you just car runs right off the road.
That's exactly right.
In a hole.
The mermaid goes back to retrieve baby from the baby bag, and there's a couple that owns this boat that heard the baby crying. They have now taken baby and are now on shore, and they are going to keep baby.
They've decided they're keeping baby.
They've decided.
That's right.
We have stumbled upon baby in our baby bag, and it is the good Lord who has bestowed
I don't know if the good Lord gets involved here in the movie. Obviously, he's involved, but in the movie, but I do know that there's no reason for them to think it was be a mer baby.
No, no reason to think that.
It looks like
just
normal
baby.
Just baby.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and I will say, watching this as a 9-year-old, it made total sense to me that you find baby yours. Like,
finders keepers, losers weepers.
That's the way of the land around when you're 9. Like finders keepers, losers weepers.
Applies to
it doesn't matter if it's candy bar. Doesn't matter if it's money. Doesn't matter if it's baby. Finders keepers.
Found a baby in your baby box.
That's right.
There's literally a Nickelodeon game show called Finders Keepers. It's in the name.
They're babies,
and it was about babies.
Yeah, it's actually exclusively. So around 13 years later, his name is Cody, the merbaby, and now he is just shy of 13. He's about to turn 13. He's running late to the swim meet that he is going to be a part of at school.
He's played by the inimitable Ches Smirnoff.
Ches Starbuck.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
We got Ches Smirnoff in here in the drink.
Has he thought
Ches Starbuck.
Shay Smirnoff.
Has he thought about branching out?
Ches Starbuck. Give me a venti. So he decides he's going to try to get to the swim meet by running
it's for
to
cocktails. It's like a Starbucks for
Ooh,
cocktails.
it's a Starbucks for cocktails.
That's not bad.
Hold on to that.
Ches, call us before you hear the rest of the review.
Yeah. Call us now.
We love you.
Right now. Stop listening. Call us now.
Just turn it off and call us about this opportunity.
Don't worry about the pot. It's not important. It's in the past.
Why do you think Ches would think he needs us to do this idea?
Because we
called dibs?
We found it and we keep
Finders keepers. It also ideas.
Starbuck.
Chocolate, babies, candy,
ideas.
Money, ideas, finders keepers.
Intellectual property, found it.
That's
ours.
Right. So he's trying to get to the ferry that's going to shore. Instead, the ferry takes off, so he decides to just swim it.
Yeah, no big deal.
He beats ferry.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
Baby beats ferry.
So I'm live. And when
it's the new rock paper scissors.
Till you die.
Exactly right.
When Cody gets to the swim meet, we're all thinking, we just saw you beat Fairy. Baby beats Fairy.
Then he ran to swim meet.
Then he swam. So I'm like, this isn't going to be a problem for my guy, Ches Starbuck.
Waste these jokers.
He comes in second. He is doing better. He's doing better. He says he's feeling good in the water, but he comes in second. It doesn't matter, though, because there is a girl named Sam that makes it all better by holding his hand.
And it's electric.
I will say in that scene, I think Cody beats Mom for the most nearly nude.
Oh, yeah.
He strips.
Yeah, I guess, Erin.
Well, it depends.
And here's the other thing, Erin, is we weren't counting minors in this discussion.
I know. I just think it's important.
We were counting adults.
Strips on camera.
He does.
And it's weird.
It's very weird. 13-year-old Chase Smirnoff is just wearing a Speedo, and it's weird. You're right.
On camera, he's shirt off. You watch him unbuckle his pants, and I'm like, I don't know if we needed to do this.
Take your shoes off. That's what they say in the movie. That's what they say. He's wearing his Timberlands, no socks.
That's not brainwashing the movie.
No, he could have kept him on. I would have been all for it.
Yeah. Maybe would have helped him swim better. He beat Ferry with the shoes on.
He beat Ferry with shoes on. That's exactly right.
The magic power.
So Cody is apparently
situation.
Cody's apparently the most popular kid at school, which was surprising to me for some reason.
Yes.
I don't know why it was surprising to me. I can't put a finger on it, but I was shocked that this kid...
Well, I would have thought the kid who came in first would be most popular.
Yeah, maybe that's it. But he maybe not is going to be the popular most boy ever. He's not going to be the most popular
kid.
All
those words and put them into a generator... It will come up with a better sentence than what that was.
You sure?
He might not be the most popular kid for long.
Never met, much less agreed. They didn't have a chance there. You just were like, most, baby, I don't popular long.
He might not be the most popular kid for long because he meets a nerd named Jess, and Jess thinks that they're friends because he saved him in the water.
Jess has been a real good friend of mine. But lately something's changed.
What's that?
He's found himself a girl. I want to make her mine.
I wish I had her.
Jesse's girl,
personally,
of course. Yeah, absolutely.
And so Cody's like, yeah, man, I guess just come to my birthday if you want to, whatever. At said birthday, Sam kisses him, and there is a literal spark.
Wow.
A literal spark when lips touch. He then goes to
if
sleep.
they don't end up together, every kiss after that is just going to be disappointing.
It's disappointing.
For her, right?
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
a literal sparks.
So it is now his 13th year. And as promised by title of movie, he goes to sleep, wakes up the next day, and weird things are happening to him. Strange things are happening to me. Strange things.
You went a long way to get Randy Newman onto this podcast.
Strange things are happening to me. Here's the thing,
Ain't
though.
no doubt about it.
Short people got no reason to live. That's Randy Newman's words.
That
guys.
is you doing like someone else doing Randy Newman, though.
Short people got
Yeah, that's better.
no reason.
You got a friend.
I love
Once
Randy
again,
Newman.
Disney borrowing from Disney.
That's exactly right.
How you like me now?
He sparks his alarm clock to death. His hands are sticky. Arms weak. Mom spaghetti. And notices scales on his hands.
Already.
And that's worrisome to him. And so he goes to his parents, and his mom is like, whatever is the problem here, no doctor. Mom is...
No, she's anti-vax. She's anti-doctor. She's anti-any medicine.
No doctor is going to come near her baby.
Not her baby. Not her illegal baby that she got out of a crate. And
Yes.
Which I will say, when they were walking off the boat with baby, being like, we're going to keep baby, Dan pointed out that, like, Dan was the adult in this situation, and Dan said, you can't do that. You would have to...
Take the baby to child services. Yes.
And I said, I'm sure they did. And then when Mom said, no doctor can go near my baby, I thought, maybe Dan was right.
Maybe they didn't.
So what do you like? Do you run in the child services and press the finders keepers button, or like what do you need?
They have
like,
a giant finders keepers button at child services. That doesn't cause any problems at all.
I mean, it's clear as crystal here, baby bucket.
I feel like they'd have to hand the baby over until their house got checked and all that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, they would hold the baby until then to make sure it was a safe environment.
Yes.
Correct.
So when they walk in though and see him Spider-Manning, like he's on the ceiling with his sticky hands, that's when Mom is like, okay, get a doctor in here. And doctor says, seen it a million times. This is clear as crystal. It's puberty. And
maybe you shouldn't trust doctors. That's what I learned.
Yeah, that was the big takeaway here.
And was it weird that he made the parents leave the room to discuss puberty with the 13-year-old?
Super duper weird. No doubt about it. No other way to take that but weird.
At 13, my mother still legally had to be in the room.
100% had to stay in the room.
Let me send your parents away so I can talk to you about what's happening to your body.
Yikes.
And he looked sinister while he did it. Like
he did.
I felt uncomfortable. And I was like, Mommy's maybe not wrong. Like, maybe it's not all doctors. Maybe it was the town doctor. She was
town
like,
doctor.
He cannot come near my son.
He's a pervert.
And
I'm not the pervert.
And I stand by that mom's decision because that doctor was weird.
That was Randy Newman doing Arnold. It was weird.
It's a weird bit. And doing the...
Our synopsis is going great.
It's going awesome.
We're almost done.
So they he doesn't believe it. He doesn't believe that it's just puberty, and so he goes to the only person he could think that would help him. It is the nerd Jess, and Jess begins to do some tests. They find out that he can conduct electricity just by holding a light bulb; it will turn on. They
As
also
all
like
can.
yes,
we know this.
Yes, he can literally talk to fish. At one point, he says jump, and fish.
One fish of the dozen fish in that fish tank jumps.
He made eye contact.
He locked in.
The fish was like, I got this one.
Is that the fish?
Yeah. Wait on me, guys. I got it. And so the ship, the fish, not the ship, the fish does jump out of the water. So clear as crystal what's going on here. Lastly, he pulls off a bit of the scaly hands and looks at it from underneath a microscope.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good job.
And he's like, I know.
Telescope.
I know this.
No, he caught himself.
I know this. I know what this is.
Sail in the sky. Oh my gosh.
He compares it to a fish scale, and they're identical.
Yeah. Because
So
if I didn't know any better, I'd say they were the same scale.
yes,
The same exact scale.
Like
Yes.
I would have thought.
Cloned almost.
yeah. So
Cody's like, what do you think's wrong with me? Right? Are we there?
Yeah, he's like no one knows what to do. Basically, Jess is just like, I mean, I guess just try to like stay out of the water or something. And his
parents forbid him from water.
Yes. Jess is doing some research though because he can't let this go, and he stumbles upon an important bit of information that on the 13th year, a mermaid,
and we know this from all of our vast research of mermaids that we have in a lab
he has
somewhere.
On the 13th year, the fish self begins to take over the human self in regards to the lads. And
it's as clear as crystal.
But I also, and this is, I know we've got places to be, things, whatever, but this is where I'm very confused. So normally, if mermaids aren't captured by human beings, they look like regular humans.
That's a great question. It's an excellent question.
Swimming in the water until they're 13.
That would be my understanding, just based solely on the 5 seconds.
People swimming in the water until they're 13.
Well, I would assume they would find something to cover up their bits.
Okay.
Like a mermaid, she's covering up with the equivalent of a bra.
Yeah, this is like a bikini top.
And so
I was under the impression that they would be mermaid and like not have like the human counterpart, like, and if they were living in the water, they would just be mermaid.
But she's clearly at the beginning carrying a baby that's all human.
You don't see that baby's legs?
You do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do. When she puts it in the crate, it's got feet, little toesies. She puts the baby in there.
Little toesies.
So what my thing is everyone until they're 13, they just look like humans, like live underwater, like freaking Avatar. Like what is it? And then all of a sudden they become mermaids.
My entire argument is gone after you said toesies.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I don't have a rebuttal.
No. There's nowhere to go from there.
Clear as crystal. Toesies.
Yeah.
I
have to agree. Toesies.
So Jess comes to him with this bit of information, and he's like, clearly, this is makes the most sense. I am a merman. It's the only logical explanation.
Merman.
He tells his parents that he thinks that he's a mermaid, and they tell him that
it's just puberty.
Okay, no, they say, interesting. Here's some more. You were found on a boat in our baby bag, and you didn't know that. We told you that you were adopted, but you probably thought that we went through the proper measures.
We didn't tell you we used the finders keepers button.
We used the finders keepers button. You were found on our boat, and we don't know where you came from. So
we were in the middle of the ocean, and we didn't think it was weird until this moment.
It's possible.
Mermaid.
Our encouragement would be to stay out of the water. So he immediately goes for a swim and does some tricks. A little spinny here, a little spinny here.
Thing. You tell him not to do something.
Yeah.
Of course.
Jumps out of the water.
Spin move.
And he comes to land.
You missed spin moves.
You did. You missed spin moves. Underwater spin moves were fire.
It was great.
He comes to land
at the same time.
Comes to land, and his arms are at this point straight fins. They are as scaly, and there's stuff really coming out, and it's tough. It's tough to look at, and so that's unfortunate timing for him because Sam walks up.
They're just fins.
Stuff
I didn't think
out.
They were tough.
Well,
to
stuff.
look
What I'm saying, like stuff is coming out from it used to just be all on the arm, and now it's
a fin.
Now it's a fin. Yeah, stuff is coming out.
It's tough to look at.
I just didn't think it was gross.
I think it's tough to look at. You never want to see that.
Start finding fish porn under his mattress.
Bran hates women and fish.
Man, you don't know what I'm into.
Toesies.
Oh no.
So Sam walks up. And he's like,
sure we haven't been canceled yet.
No. Sam's like, I would love to talk to you and hang out with you. And he's just kind of like mean to her. And it's like, get away from me. I don't
he's
really
hiding
want you to be around.
his
gross,
arms
nasty arms.
Coming out of it.
Yes,
so
as described.
Trying to get Sam to go away.
As described in script. He realizes that he can't do the swim meet because he'll turn into a fish
in front
of everybody, and you never want to see that. It's tough to look at. And he, but also at the same
Bran
time,
is so anti-fish, it's ridiculous. He hates aquatic creatures. It's unbelievable.
At the same time, though, he doesn't want to risk his reputation. Remember, he's the coolest guy at school. If I don't show up...
And they made it to states. They need him.
If I don't show up, people are going to start making fun of me. And so
he's
says...
He's team down.
I'm going to go for it. And he gets there, and he breaks the record. And he is so pumped that he begins to go like this, pumping his fist in the air. That's where his gross little nasty fins are now exposed to everybody.
Nobody notices.
Tough to look at. One guy notices. His name's Big John. Big John is in the stands of the high school swim meet with binoculars.
With binoculars.
Just looking at there, Big John.
The creep of the week is Big John. There's no doubt about it.
Creep of the week. Creep of the week.
Is this after Cody goes swimming and sees his mom? Or is this before that?
I think it is after that.
No, this is before. We're almost there. We're almost there.
Okay, because I thought that could explain why Big John was in the audience.
No, this is just his normal perch for the high school swim meets.
Why he is there
with binoculars in the top
because
row.
his kid isn't on the swim team.
No, and even Jess goes up to him and says, "Dad, what are you doing here?"
That's right.
Which is nobody else in the audience.
I do think that Big John was skeptical. His son.
Yeah, but you wouldn't say there's an audience at the swim meet.
That's right. That's true. Go ahead.
His son is suddenly into fish porn and mermaid lore. And he has been
lure instead of lore. Did you do that on purpose?
And he has been
so good.
And he's been looking.
Don't give him that credit.
And he's been hanging out with this kid who's weird. And so I think maybe Big John put it together. Like it's possible that new friend is a mermaid. So Cody now realizing.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. So Cody now
she told me.
Realizing that at least one person is aware of his nasty little fins.
Shaming so hard right now.
He runs to the water.
Any fish listening, leave us a rating and review. Let Brand know that you have feelings too.
That's right. That's right.
And
justice for fish porn.
Justice for fish porn. So
I know where you were going.
You should be able to look at a little fish porn.
You were with me. You were with me. You came in hot, just like, yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
I was like, yeah, justice for fish
porn.
Oh, but I guess you like what you like. That's justice for fish porn. If you want that on a t-shirt, let us know.
Nah, man. Can't do that. Can't do that. So everybody at school turns on him, including Sam. Sam takes a look at his nasty arms and is like, "Ew!" Like, put some lotion on it, man. Like, be like ashy. And so he then runs to the water, jumps in. This is when he comes face to face with his mom. This is when he looks at his mom. They have a moment. He's like, "Holy cow, my mom's hot!" Like full realization there. And it's at this point that Big John scares her off. Okay, and so what?
Just trying to not die over here.
So
also, is it really hot in here? Is it just me? What happened to our AC?
So
he saw his mom and she's hot. That's where you are.
Yes.
So then Sam comes and is like, "Hey, I apologize.
It's cool if you're part fish.
It's totally cool.
Good for her for learning new information and growing with that information.
We all take it in. We're all learning. We're all growing.
Who are a little different.
That's right.
Bran.
I can accept somebody and think they're gross. I
think so.
And so
I don't think that's really accepting.
Yes, I do. So
you should be a little accepting.
He wants to
Brand, the new spokesperson for the Independent Fundamental Baptist Church. I can accept everybody as long as I can think they're gross.
Yeah. That's exactly right. And so he is now suddenly hurting. He is in pain. And what can he do? So he then sees his feet turning into fins.
Oh, man.
This is big news for him, and he kind of faints, basically. Big John, though, gets him, apparently, puts him on his boat, and we think maybe Big John's had a change of heart
trying to help him out.
Maybe he's trying to help his buddy's buddy, And no, he's actually
buddy.
Yes,
his merboy is bait. Is what he's
going to use the merboy as bait.
We were confused for a few moments what Big John was up to. Like, is he trying? Because he like goes over and comforts Cody.
And he dumps water on him to keep him comfortable, right?
Yeah. And it's like, okay, maybe he is trying to help.
No.
No. So, the hot mermom shows up again, and it's at this point that Big John drops everybody's biggest fear, a net with no bottom, on top of her. No, and we all know it. We all know this about mermaids, but they can't swim down.
They can swim over.
They can swim up.
Yes. She may not be able to swim down because she swims very close to the surface the whole movie.
That's right. She does.
That's true. And I maybe if we got more,
she's kind of asking for it.
Maybe if we read in the same book about how mermaids on their 13th year begin to turn into fish and it begins to take over their bodies. Maybe in that same book there's the explanation that mermaids can't swim down, and that's how Big John knew. Nevertheless, drops the net on the mermaid, and Jess, to everyone's surprise, this whole movie, can't swim, has been getting lessons from the merman himself. Dives in the water with a knife, cuts the net open, the side. Thank God, because now you can swim.
Yeah, you can swim
left,
over.
left, right, and. But now the net is caught around Jess's foot, which typically wouldn't be a problem, but there's a mechanical issue, and the thing is that you can't get it up. And so the net, that is. And so,
same page.
We all understand.
Yeah. So, his dad then dives in to save him, and he's dying, and so Cody then shocks him back to life. Wake me up!
Wake me up inside!
Go wake up!
Can't wake up inside!
Mermaid! And Cody decides now is the time for him to go with his hot mom. He jumps in. They touch hands.
They have like a telepathic conversation.
Yes.
That's right, where she doesn't have to say anything.
Then Mermom has telepathic conversation with Human Mom, and Human Mom's like, "Oh, you got to go with her for a bit.
You got to go if you got to go."
Dad is like, "She's beautiful."
Yeah, Dad.
Dad
says,
is not hiding his absolute physical attraction to this mermaid in front of his wife.
It
is unbelievable.
He has never seen a more beautiful woman.
It is just full like cartoon Auga eyes.
He's like, Cody, I am going to be with your mother one way or another. Cody then jumps in, is with his mom. They celebrate by jumping out of the water. They do like a hey. Woohoo! And he waves goodbye, and off he goes. And off we go to another break. We'll be right back with the overtime, making a list here on
DCOM Descendants.
Thanks, Dan.
Set him up, I knock him down.
Welcome back
to DCOM Descendants.
That's exactly right, Dano. It's time for the overtime part of the show. We talk about this movie
where we realize we're over time when we get here every week.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it, shall we? We talk about how this movie aged over time. I'll read a few.
My favorite part.
Thank goodness.
I'll read some Letterboxd reviews for this movie. Finding out that the lead actor's name is Ches Starbuck changed me. When Cody's mom revealed herself as an anti-vaxxer, I died. This is the most overarching cinematic metaphor for homosexuality I've ever seen.
Wow.
That's from Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah, it is.
Nico says, "Oh, to be a nerd in love with your merman best friend." Are we going to pretend that this isn't the sequel to The Shape of Water? Kelly says, "What are we supposed to do, Sharon? Just stand by and watch while he turns into Dolphin Boy?" I don't know, Kelly. Katie, a great quote from this movie. I finally make a friend and he turns into a fish. Typical. A great line.
Typical is great in that line. Yes.
Cody definitely wasn't vaccinated, says Paris. And
for sure not.
Yeah.
Some good ones.
Yeah, some good ones. This DCOM's such a doozy. Cody is straight up a-hole until Jess sets him straight. Also, Jess is the number one contender for the best sidekick at the moment. The mom is funny. And Big John's mermaid obsession comes off as very weird, creepy upon the rewatch.
Yeah, I would say upon the first watch even.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Man, a lot of people in this movie are like, this movie is like, like we love it. If you're in the, this movie is a lot. It's a lot going on. There's a lot of things going on in here. It's a lot of things to a lot of people. What is it to us? Let's find out. It's time for overtime. Erin, you've seen it before.
Yeah.
You've seen it now. Thoughts?
This might be the first one where it did not hold up to what I thought it was when I was 9. It was a rough watch. I will say a lot of the DCOMs, if you are watching Take It to the Tape, you will hear Dan point it out once, twice, 100 times per episode that it takes a while to get to the plot.
What?
This was the first one where I felt that. This movie dragged way more than I thought it did. Yeah, it did not hold up the way I wanted it to. It
was the 50-minute mark when he realized he was a mermaid? Was that what
I think it's over halfway.
What we figured out?
Yeah,
I think it's over halfway.
Yeah, it's still like an iconic DCOM in my mind. It's, when I think of a DCOM, it is probably one of like the first 15 I would think of.
Wow.
Not saying it would be in my top 15.
But that's just from a memorable, just most memorable.
I mean, it stands out. Like, he's a mermaid man.
He's a mermaid man.
Yeah, so this one was probably the first one where I was a little disappointed on this rewatch.
Dan, you had never seen it?
I had not seen it.
You happy you did?
I wish that was still the case. I hated this movie. It takes forever to get anywhere. Most of the characters have a fatal flaw as a human being, whether it be spying on children swimming with binoculars from the top row of a swim meet, being an anti-vaxxer parent. Like, there's a lot of things in this movie that are just creepy, and they don't bother to really explain any of them. And the other thing is that there's no real fun hijinks in the movie. Like, you would think him starting to realize that he's got scales and his hands stick to things would give us some really fun scenes, like comedic scenes. And the closest we get is him at the beach with his arms under sand trying to hide them from the girl. You just don't get the fun. Like, if you're going to have him turn into a mermaid, give me some fun hijinks.
Well, it was so nice of his mermaid symptoms to never like manifest at school.
Yeah. Super kind. And also,
aside from just being super thirsty,
this is, we've literally not.
Which is most middle schoolers going through puberty. They're super thirsty.
Have we, nicely done.
Thank you.
Have we mentioned Dave Coulier at all? Have we mentioned him?
We have not.
Dave Coulier's in this movie.
Cut it out.
Ches Starbuck is in this movie, and it is the worst acting I've seen in a DCOM, and that includes Kirk Cameron shaking his tail feathers. So this movie is just not for me. I can't imagine it holding up to anyone. Not great, especially after watching like Halloween Town and Xenon and some of these other movies that like clearly were for an audience. I just don't get this one at all. This is really, really, real bad. Real bad.
I don't hate it.
The guy that doesn't have you lucky dog glass doesn't hate it.
That's exactly right.
The guy who hates fishes.
So, obviously, watched this movie early on in life when Disney Plus launched, and all these movies were available at the roll of a dice.
Click of a button?
Yes, there it is.
Roll of a dice.
I don't know how your Disney Plus works.
So it's a big DCOM. It's a big DCOM die, and you just roll it, and then it picks the movie for you. This was one of the first ones. What would you
call a 114-sided die?
I don't even want to know.
Okay. Someone comment, let us know.
This was one of the leave it a review with just that number, please. This was one of the first ones that my wife and I went back and watched, and it is as dumb as I remember it being, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I think that I like it. I think it's ridiculous. I mean, the one big standout for me that I had never really noticed was how everyone who sees this mermaid talks about how beautiful she is, regardless if they're around their significant other or not. There's nothing they can do.
She always creeped me out.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't.
She's controlling their mind.
Right. Like she doesn't. She just stares intently, and then everyone's like,
"Tell me I'm beautiful."
Cody, you have to go with her for a little while. I'm like,
what? I don't know about that.
What? I was like, can she not say any words?
This movie is not good
by any stretch.
Yeah.
But
I do like
lead performances. You got any comments on those?
No, but I do like this movie. I will say Jess is a standout star in this movie.
Yes.
He's a standout.
Good sidekick.
We found out also in Little Giants, which I think was a qualification that you needed to be in Little Giants to be in a DCOM, at least early on. While they're making these, you couldn't if you hadn't. Movie's bad. It's clear. But I like it. This is one of those bad ones that I'm just like, it's so dumb. There's so many flaws, and I quite enjoy it. So there you go, the 13th year. It is time for making the list. It's time for us to make our list. We are ranking all of these. Eventually, it's going to get very hard, very divisive. So far, everything's kind of around there, around the same spot, aside from me thinking You Lucky Dog's better than Under Wraps.
And you haven't Brink at 1.
But yes, by and large, but no one's like, man, I can't believe you have that as high as like, crazy.
We got 7 now.
I imagine we're going to get there.
10. Yeah.
Yes. Let's find out where everybody is placing the 13th year, which I think might be the most varying in its placement.
I think it might be too.
Erin, where are you placing the 13th year?
Yeah. I do think this one might move around the more we watch.
I agree.
Because this one, as I said, like it has a lot of nostalgia for me, but it is not good. And it would be hard. I'm so sorry to sit through another performance of Ches Starbuck. He cannot deliver any of those lines. And I think as a child, I didn't care, but watching it now, I'm like, every line just felt like it was like 80 yard in or something. It just,
personal challenge.
Yeah. So here is my top 7 as we do. Number 1, still Halloween Town. Then we got Xenon, Brink, Can of Worms, Under Wraps, 13th Year, You Lucky Dog.
Very good. I have Brink, Halloween Town, Xenon. Then I have the 13th Year.
You have
followed by Can of Worms. Can of Worms.
Can of Worms?
This cocktail.
This ocean breeze, whatever it is. Can of Worms. You Lucky Dog, and then Under Wraps. There at the end, I struggled with what order to put my the 13th Year in and Can of Worms. I think those two are battling it out for me, and I could see it changing. For me, I would rather rewatch clearly because I have the 13th Year over Can of Worms. I hope to never see Can of Worms ever again. It is one of the most disgusting movies. It's more traumatizing to me than Saw. But it's also Can of Worms is a better movie. Yeah. But for me, the rewatchability of the 13th Year kicks it up ahead of Can of Worms, and that was how I got to that placement.
Yeah, I had to weigh that one scene in Can of Worms
correct
versus all of Chez's acting.
All of Ches Starbuck's acting. That's right.
And Can of Worms won for me.
I have to be honest. I don't know how long it's going to continue, but once again, Erin Shea, you and I have the same exact list.
I told you.
I thought you'd have 13th Year higher than me. I currently have Halloween Town, Xenon, Brink. I think that's the only possible order for those 3 movies. After that, it gets a little wonky. I think You Lucky Dog is the worst movie. The other 3 movies, Can of Worms, Under Wraps, 13th Year. I really struggle with Can of Worms and Under Wraps. I think 13th Year is worse because in this realm, I'm just thinking of which movie went the fastest. And 13th Year went the slowest to me. It just drug. It took the longest to get going. And currently,
it felt forever.
I have Can of Worms ahead of Under Wraps because I thought it took a bigger swing. I'm thinking about switching those, but right now, Halloween Town, Xenon, Brink, Can of Worms, Under Wraps, 13th Year, You Lucky Dog. in that order.
Yeah.
I feel good about it.
I have the same struggle, and that's how I landed today. Yeah. I do think as we watch more, it might change my opinion, but having to sit through Chez's performance again.
I don't want to see that movie again.
I just don't know if I
don't want to see it again.
I just loved it as a kid because I wanted to be a mermaid.
Duh.
But it doesn't hold up.
But next week we have Smart House.
Yeah, we do.
Next week we have Smart House.
I've heard a lot about that movie.
A movie so big and so important that we're also going to drop it on the Deck the Hallmark feed. That's how monumental Smart House is and how little there is going on. And
this was a thing that we discussed off air first.
We did.
It's on the schedule, guys. I don't know what to tell you. We did it. We're going to be back next week with Smart House. Until then, DCOMs!
DCOM Descendants is a Bramble Jam podcast. It's produced by Brandon Gray. For more information on DCOM Descendants, you can go to dcompodcast.com. Feel free to follow us on the socials at DCOM Descendants on Instagram and X. And for more information on how to watch us watch the movies live, go to bramblejamplus.com.